What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the top of the map in the red color, playing as Isis. His name is the Rapl. His opponent today, in the blue color, standing 6'16" tall, an immaculate head of hair, being that there is no head of hair on said individual, but it is immaculate because, well, he's just... No, you can think about it for yourself. His name is Suppe, and he's playing Thor. This is on the map Midgard. Midgard is the map. Thor versus Isis is the matchup. This has been not necessarily a debate I've been having, but not with anyone in particular, mostly just with my own self, is when you see a map like Anatolia, most top players still believe that Anatolia is an Isis map. So if they get shown the map ahead of time, they will most likely pick Isis. But on Midgard, I don't think it's the same. I think that the top players are a little bit more like, maybe it's Greek favored, maybe it's Norse favored, maybe it's Egyptian favored, and everyone's got their own opinion of what's really good on this map, which makes me feel like Midgard is just like kind of a top tier map in a way, in terms of figuring out who's got the most skills in a way. I think that this map is really, really fair and even for the most part in most matchups. And it's oftentimes a skill matchup in the end of the day, just because there's so many weaknesses you have to account for in your strategy, in your like approach to the game. So we'll see how these guys are going to go. Rapl's picking the Isis here, and the Thor over here for Suppe. One of the big advantages of Thor in this matchup, beyond the fact that Thor is going to have an incredibly clean classical age, just because of the fact he's Thor and he's got this Dwarven Gold Mine, going to be enjoying that. He's got the Ulfsuck, being able to build the docks. Well, he's not going to have to use any villages to build docks, so he's going to get a lot more resources coming in than the Isis. He also gets access to potentially Hall of Thanes, but more importantly, the extra food income he's going to get, you're able to afford a whole handful of Hersir, which really, really helps counter the Ancestors Eclipse that potentially comes from the Isis player in this matchup. Oftentimes on Midgard, Anatolia, any kind of semi-water map where there's a whole bunch of fish, Isis loves doing these semi-fast heroics with a whole bunch of archer ships and then nuking your base with an Ancestors Eclipse at about 8 minutes to 9 minutes into the game, causing some real big problems for most civilizations. It's a big reason why she's so absurdly strong on Anatolia, is because that timing hits and no one is really ready. No civilization is really ready to defend it and then also be able to secure a second gold mine. But we'll see how things are going to go. Suppe's already setting up some walls over here on this position, making some more units, getting himself the Ulfsuck Gatherers coming through here as well. Rapl, on the other hand, motoring ahead. He's getting himself 5 villages on gold here. He's only got 4 on wood. This is a slight build order mistake here from Rapl. Depending on what he's trying to do, he might be trying to do something completely different. But the general idea with Isis and Egyptian in general is that when you want to be doing a fish boom, which is about 18 to 21 fishing ships, or 15 to 21 fishing ships, you want to go up to 6 villages on wood after you've started to put your villages over onto gold. So you go 4 villages wood, 4 villages gold, then an extra 2 villages on wood, and that allows you to support with the Pharaoh empowering the lumber camp. That allows you to support 2 docks producing fishing ships pretty much constantly, which allows you to get up to 18, 21 fishing ships fairly comfortably with a really nice advance time. But Rapl's going to be in a bit of a struggle town here in the early stages of the game, getting to the next age, whereas Suppe here is going to be advancing. I would say this is slightly slow for a Thor player, but still 4 minutes 20 seconds into the game is not anything to be upset about. I feel like Midgard, Anatolia, these maps are kind of the hardest to nail your build orders on, just because of sometimes the lack of resources. Sometimes you're expecting a couple more cows, but you don't find them. All these things play a big role in these kind of situations. As you can just take a look at Suppe's fishing ships right now. He's got a ton out here. He's got himself 19 fishing ships out at this point. He's got himself 3 docks, or a third dock coming up here with already 2 docks down. He's going to have a fun time here in this game. The biggest problem with playing Thor on water and Norse in general, it's really hard to just spam docks. So one way you can play around this as an idea for those buddying Norse players is, instead of building archer ships out the front, instead of putting all of these dwarves onto gold tier, chuck all your dwarves over onto hunt, not all of them, like a handful, onto wood, and you're able to just dock, and delay longboat production. That way you're playing a defensive game, just like the ISIS who spammed all the docks, but you've got docks to like kind of defend your fishing ships with easily. But we'll see how things are going to go as the Valkyrie's moving across the map. We do have a Herser coming up onto this town center, scouting everything out. He's still going to be spamming out those Hersers, putting more and more wooden walls around his home base, trying to scout out to find where all of the gold mines and important pieces of the map are on this Midgard of things. As we do see double monuments here for Rapl. That's a super early double monuments here. He's got himself hand axe, pickaxe coming through, Persane on the way, armory on the way as well, houses coming in. Is he building himself archer ships? We don't see any archer ships just. Yes, we do. This is one thing that I would recommend Egyptian players to delay. And the reason is that you want to delay it just as much as getting out Shaft Mine. Getting Shaft Mine immediately on Midgard, such a big map. It's so important because it allows you to get all that extra gold out to get to the heroic age much more efficiently. But we are going to be seeing Rapl is going to start putting some serious pressure onto Suppe here. He's retreating with his fishing ships over on this location. We do see the Sphinx coming in, has found itself a house there. Taking that down is going to be very helpful as the priest in the middle of the map does get found out here. The Herser and the Valkyrie managed to finish that one off as the cabinet's going to be moving through to start harassing some more fishing ship, and Suppe is calmly just going to produce a handful of longboats here and retreat, and Rapl is forced to retreat back. He's got a handful of cabinets in reserve, but look at this. Suppe is going to be able to hit that second age really fast, and he chooses Bragi here. He goes Bragi. This is a surprise. Bragi is most of the time considered a bit of a mistake against Egyptian. However, on water maps, maybe not so much. The idea being timing attack that second gold mine potentially with a Ragnarok here is never a bad idea. The other thing that you kind of want to do here is Norse. It's something you can't really do with other civilizations, because the other civilizations takes you a lot more resources to actually build a town center than Norse. Norse's town center is arguably the most cheap town center in the game because you don't have to use villages to build it, and your villagers gather so much faster than, say, Egyptians, who cost a lot less to build it. But the point is that when you're playing Norse, as we are still seeing a little bit of action over here, when you're playing Norse, you kind of want to drop a town center while you're going to the heroic age on Midgard, because it allows you to have 2 separate town centers, which you can pick what kind of town center you want to go to the mythic age from. Also, more economy to come out and all the other good things coming through. So Suppe just waiting back here with all of his archer ships, and we'll see how things are going to go here as he does hit that second age. Or has he hit? Yeah, he has hit the second age. Look at all the food in the bank right now. There's so much food. But the question is, what is he going to do? Is he going to get himself arrow ship cladding? It's such a big upgrade to grab for your longboats. As we see Rapl moving forward, Suppe moving forward. Both players. Well, it looks like Suppe notices it first here, and Rapl is caught out here. This is why you never ever want to move your ships on water. Just sit back and defend all game. Just defend all game. As Nephthys does come through, Sultan 4 immediately coming through as well for Rapl. Rapl will get himself out that free Leviathan as these longboats are going to start retreating away. And Rapl now moving over onto this location, dropping Migdol Stronghold, and the siege works here. But what is happening for Soup? Soup decides to drop himself a hill fort on this location. He'll still lots of resources in the bank. I'm still waiting to see exactly what he's going to try and produce from that, as the Sultan 4 are now coming through the Soup, as these cabinets almost all falling here, and Rapl is going to be in for a very, very difficult time moving forward here. He is getting himself up this market. He is getting himself quarry at this point as well. So lots of resources are going to start piling in, but he's about to lose all of his fishing economy. I'm not sure, but potentially a good way to defend all of this would probably be to just build a handful of siege ships just to sit back and defend as the longboats are moving around. As there's that town center coming down for Soup as he gets his hill fort up as well. That's going to be able to build Huskal or Jarl to deal with an Ancestors Eclipse. As the unit's starting to move forward, we've got 2 Scorpion Men out here for Rapl. He's got himself a little bit of favor in the bank. Still no second town center down. If Rapl wants to do this kind of classical fight, has he used Prosperity yet? He has used Prosperity, but if Rapl wants to do this fast heroic, kind of stick in the fast in the heroic age, put pressure on in the heroic age like it seems, I think he needs to get a second town center. He needs to be thinking second town center behind this attack, or even second and third town center behind this attack to keep on motoring through here. But he just doesn't have any resources to get it at this point. He's spent them all here pretty well, it would seem. As the longboats are still searching around, the army looking to start moving forward. This town center is very, very open here. But like, here's the other thing. Soup dropping a market at this point can sell a whole bunch of wood and get himself to the mythic age here. If he gets mythic age here through tier, that's going to absolutely decimate Rapl's economy as the army pushes through. Ancestors Eclipse getting dropped. Maybe a little bit preemptive here from Rapl, as his Ancestors is going to be moving around the map, searching for villages to take out. If he spots these villages, not a whole lot over there. If he spots these villages, they can garrison into the hill fort. So these are the only real weak villages at this point here, as the elephant's going to come through, starting to take out these houses over here. Soup trying to get himself out as many units and resources, as many units as he possibly can. He's got plenty of resources in the bank. But look at the Leviathan right now. Get some speed up to 5.04 speed here. Going to start taking down these longboats, but it looks like the longboats are going to win on that fight here, as the town center is getting torn down. Rapl trying to get good damage, and he gets his second town center up. He's getting his third town center up behind this all. So it's attack and get economy behind this. But the question is going to be, will he have food to produce the villages, keep the army pressure, keep everything that he needs after this Ancestors is gone here, as the Jarl's getting taken down, the battle ball going down over here from that one priest here with 1 HP. You hate to see it. There's a watchtower here that could snipe that down, but we'll see how it's all going to go, as the battle ball almost picked off here. The army still sitting very, very happily in Soup's base here. Raiding cavalry coming through, Jarls coming through, as Soup is kind of forced into making all of these raiding cavalry or cavalry units, I should say, because Rapl is gone. Axeman here, and Axeman is such a difficult unit to deal with for Norse, especially when there are myth units involved. But one thing that Norse can do here against myth unit Axeman is Jarls. Jarls is a fantastic counter, but he's only got the 1 hill fort at this moment, so it can be a little bit tough to make that work. Now, Rapl is on 3 town centers here. He's actually eating this hump, which I absolutely love, to help him support all these villages here, as he is still having a little bit of trouble keeping every town center there kind of going, but all these fishing ships getting taken out is going to be absolutely huge for Soup's economic advantage in the long run. Not only that, we see Balder has been clicked here as a Ragnarok at this point. Is it going to be able to do enough damage or not is the big question. Losing that temple means no frost giant, not frost giant, no fire giant to come through for Soup here. So we're going to have to wait and see with that one. But here's the big thing. The big thing with a Ragnarok at this point is, 1, you can get a gold star, but 2, right now the weakness for Soup is he doesn't actually have the infantry and the army to really, or the infantry mostly, to build these town centers back up. So one play here with Soup winning the water is to click Ragnarok, get himself 3 town centers, obviously put pressure on with the Ragnarok after, but he's going to be able to reboom afterwards really, really fast. Make a trade route, 3 town centers worth of production. He's already got 20 fishing ships out onto the water here. So he's most likely going to be able to repopulate all of his army, all of his economy, in maybe like 1 or 2 minutes of actual game time, which might be enough here, in all honesty, after the Ragnarok settles down. So we'll see how things are going to go. Rapl here moving forward onto this location to eat even more of this hunt here. Not happy with the idea of farming at this point, but he's slowly starting to throw those farms down as the unit's still coming through for Suppe, trying to hold on. We've got the armory coming up. There's the temple. Going to be back up for Suppe to get himself the fire giant down. It's a huge help against these elephant, against these spearmen as well to boot. As the priests getting taken down, as they're getting pushed back. Suppe doesn't even need to click the button right now. He's holding off on clicking the button for just a little bit. He's going to be losing a couple of villages, but there is literally no need to click Ragnarok right away. And when there's not, sometimes it's better to hold off on clicking it. Sometimes just don't click it at all and just hold out for the late game and try and get yourself a position and get yourself a whole bunch of resources to click. That can be a way to play. We'll see if that's what Suppe's going to do. He's still he's got his longboats left over here, so he's still got some pressure for the water, but he's mostly done all the damage he needs to here to Rapl's economy, at least on the water. But kind of so too has Rapl done that damage over onto Suppe here. 77 villages to what looks to me, if I can do some quick math, 60 villages for Suppe. So a slight advantage in terms of villager count for Rapl, but Rapl, did he get hunting dogs? Yeah, Rapl here, he's not going to have that super efficient, juicy income that those fishing ships are coming. He doesn't have those dwarves. So technically, economy, you got to have to assume that it's slight advantage to Suppe at this point, even with the villager count being Rapl's favor. As the fire giant comes through, those villagers, they are going to be hurting here after getting torched there by the fire giant's special ability. As the villager's going to be retreating back here. We'll see how things are going to go here as the game continues. As Mason's coming through for Suppe as well. He's getting himself the town center on this side. He's got this town center up as well, as the longboats are continuing to search around on this map here to prevent fishing ships from doing anything. And Rapl doesn't even want to try and survive anymore. He's got a villager advantage, but he's not able to survive any longer. That fire giant too strong, running completely out of steam here. I definitely think just like one siege ship here would have been an absolute godsend for Rapl. 1 or 2 siege ships, just that many, probably would have allowed Rapl to stay relatively healthy on the water, and then he would have been able to continue this push and probably be in the Mythic Age by now, being able to make mummies, forcing the Ragnarok, the tiny Ragnarok that Suppe was going to make. This one here, well played by Suppe, really managed to punish the Rapl mistakes in the end here. But you do have to ask the question, sometimes, would it have been enough? Would it have changed the result? Would the game have been really, really close in the end? But Thor, definitely going to be a pick to watch out for on these Midgards moving forward. I definitely think he's a strong pick here, especially with the option of going tier. We didn't see it here in this game, but getting those Jormung Elvers out if you need to win that water and hold the water is absolutely huge here. If you guys enjoyed this one, see you guys in the next game. But what am I saying? I'm just getting distracted. If you guys enjoyed this one, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next game.